I think it's back to normal, but wow. I don't know why this thing is tripping, but it is tripping hard. I'm going to try again here. But if it doesn't work out, then I'm just going to have to try for a later time and do some other some pop-ups or something like that. But I don't know what the hell is going on, y'all. I don't know what's going on. This whole software is just tripping. It's just deciding not to work with me today at all. But we're going to try to keep it pushing. We're going to try to keep it moving. Of course, hit that like button down below. But that's very, very frustrating because, man, you do little bit. You ain't wrong. They don't want me to talk about this. You know what I mean? They don't want me talking about any of this stuff, man. Real talk. This is annoying. This is annoying as hell. Anyway, I'm going to try this again. It just sucks because, we were on a good momentum. People were coming in, people were hopping on and all that. And we were talking, and I feel now like I'm going to be repeating myself, which is annoying. I hate that. I absolutely hate that with a passion. I hate it. I hate it so much. But we're going to do it again. We got to keep it moving. But thank you guys for those of y'all who are starting to come in and watch this one. You guys are real troopers. I really do appreciate it. So please, of course, hit that like button down below. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It'd be greatly appreciated as well. Okay. Hopefully this will be kind to me today. Damn. Unbelievable, y'all. Okay. All right. Here's what's gonna go down. Most likely I'm going to have to do a show a little bit later on today. I don't know what's going on with this rig. I really don't know what's going on with this. I'm very, very frustrated. I can keep trying, but if it keeps shutting down like this on me, I don't know what to do. Because this has nothing to do with me, has nothing to do with my internet, has nothing to do with my computer. It has to do with the software that I'm streaming this show on. StreamYard, for some weird reason, is acting a damn fool right now. Is acting a damn fool, and I don't know why. Especially when I'm trying to tell these stories and talk to you guys about this ish, and this thing is just not wanting to be my friend right now. This is the first time I've ever had this issue before, like this. I've had a few glitches here and there. I mean, that happens, but where it just shuts off like this, bruh, this is ridiculous. Okay, I'm going to try. They don't want me talking about any of this ish, y'all, and that's so frustrating. Okay, so if this happens again and I have to shut off randomly, I'm just going to say this now. I will make sure to do a show later on today to talk about all the things that I haven't been able to talk about today. Okay. Yes, please keep my stream in your thoughts and prayers. I would really appreciate that. Okay. I don't know why it's acting a damn fool, but it is. Okay. So, like I said, if it does happen again, most likely I'm just going to kill the feed and I'm going to just do something later on. Okay. And do a show this evening or something like that. Okay. But yeah, I know. I like being live, Zozo Bob. I like being live too. It's a lot easier to talk these things out with y'all, with the fam and everything. But when it does this kind of thing where it just shuts down randomly, it's just not letting me live my best life. You feel me? And I want to live my life like it's golden too. Okay. But for some weird reason, it's acting a damn fool right now. And it's annoying as hell. So I'm going to try this again. Okay. So we already know that Travis Scott has been seen outside, all right, of his mansion. He's getting a gang of lawyers up in this piece. I'm going to try to pull this up again. Hopefully it'll be my friend. Hopefully it'll be my friend. Now I literally restarted my computer, everything. So every window that I had open and all that is gone, dead and gone. So I got to go and pull this stuff up all over again. So please, if you guys will bless me with your patience today, that would be great. Because I did not expect this ish to happen right now. But I wanted to show you guys this. Okay, there it is. Okay, so as we already know, he's been pacing back and forth outside of his home. He's been found. Obviously, he is very distraught. Obviously, he is very frustrated about what's been going on. Okay, so we all know that this dude about to get slammed with some serious lawsuits. They say right here, over 150 people have joined in lawsuits, all right, against the rapper and of Live Nation Entertainment. Now, I already just said a second ago before the thing shut off. I don't know when you couldn't hear me, but I'm going to repeat myself again. I don't know how easy it's going to be for any person that watches, that goes in, right? That is a patron of any concert that has been promoted by Live Nation Entertainment. I don't know if they're going to be successful with their lawsuits. Now, there is that whole talk of negligence. I'm forgetting the term right now because my mind shut off trying to figure this whole thing out. But you see what I'm saying? Like, there are gross negligence revolving around this particular event. Now Live Nation Entertainment has clauses, and they have fine print within fine print within fine print, where it's going to be hard for these 150 people, 150 plaintiffs to possibly have a successful lawsuit against Live Nation Entertainment. Now, when it comes to Travis Scott and his own entity and all that stuff, they might have a better chance doing that than anything else, right? But we will see. We will see if they're going to have something a little bit more successful. I have a feeling they're going to have a little bit more of a successful lawsuit against Travis Scott than having it against Live Nation. That's just my own personal opinion about that. I think that Live Nation makes sure that they are covered over and over and over again, just in case that they don't get sued. Because I'm sure somebody twists their ankle, they're getting sued, right? I mean, that's thousands, millions of people that are going to of concert goers every single year throughout the entire country that are going to concerts that are promoted by Live Nation Entertainment that could easily just go, oh, I stubbed my toe, lawsuit. Oh, I twist my ankle, lawsuit. So they have to have clause within clause within clause, fine print within fine print within fine print to make sure that their asses are covered. And I'm sure they are suited and booted with all kinds of lawyers. So these 150 plaintiffs that are going to be going after Travis Scott and Live Nation Entertainment, they're probably going to have a lot more of a successful reaction with going after Travis Scott and not Live Nation. They can still go after it. They can still go after Live Nation, but I mean, it's like, you're going after like a big tobacco company, right? It's tough because you're going after dudes. You're going after a company that has deep pockets and are lawyered the F up like a mother lover. So when they go after this is going to be very interesting to see how this transpires from this point on, right? because, like I said, I think they have a better chance. They have a better chance of getting Travis Scott than they are of getting Live Nation, in just my personal opinion. And of course, Travis Scott is nervous as all get out, as he should be. Shoot, he done mucked up. He messed up. And, you know, the lawsuits this ain't the only lawsuit he's going to be seeing. Like these 150. I mean, this is just beginning. We've only just begun. Like, it's only begun, y'all. It's only begun. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens here in the very near future with other people that are going to be added on to the 150 plaintiffs. They said 300 people have been injured during this whole situation. 9 people have died. I mean, we're going to slowly get closer and closer to 300 plaintiffs here very, very soon. Then you also got to remember people who were involved or people who were that lay witness to everything. Like, for example, they were crushed, but they weren't injured. That is literally a traumatic experience, emotional distress. I could see people suing Travis Scott and Live Nation for that. People say people weren't even crushed, but they were off to the sides. But they see people falling like flies, dropping like flies out of nowhere. Traumatized from seeing somebody dead on the ground. Traumatized from running over and trying to help revive that particular person. You don't think that there's going to be a lot of lawsuits coming? Trust. A lot. And then, of course, there's going to be people who are going to sit there and try to say, emotional distress, but nothing happened to them, or that they didn't even know anything happened. There's plenty of people that were there that were not aware of what was going on, that were not aware of their surroundings. Real talk. They're too busy being high as hell and having a grand old time. There's some people that were there that didn't hear any screams, that didn't see anything. They just heard about it after the fact. That is true. That is true. Not all 50,000 people saw everything. Some people were completely gone. But they're going to sit there and go, oh, wait a second. This is an opportunity to scoop up a bag. This tastes delicious right now. Let me get a bag real quick. Emotional distress. Literally. That's what's going to happen. And BX Beefy, I do appreciate you including Ezra in your prayers, because like I said, we still have that young boy, 9 years old, that's in a coma right now, fighting for his life, brain damage, severely trampled on, 9 years old. And thank God, I mean, God forbid if there's any other child that's younger than 9 that was trampled upon. But it shows how much people were not giving a damn and how much people were not really paying attention to their surroundings and what was going on. We got another video, too, I want to show you guys, because this is a video of a boy that was trampled on. He was already injured. He already had a neck brace on and everything. He was trampled on in this situation as well. I mean, it's insane. Let's take a look at this video. And be sure to hit that like button. It looks like this stream is starting to work today. Thank you, baby Jesus. So hit that like button down below. Send those likes all the way up. Let's take a listen to this. This is he had been trampled. A Stark County teen injured during deadly AstroWorld festival. Man, we're gonna go and take a look at that now. Maybe StreamYard wanted me to have this mess up happen so that we could check out this press conference. But the press conference, is it Debbie? Does it revolve around the AstroWorld situation, or is this another press conference? Because I could have sworn there was another press conference going on with the thought it had to do with Britney Spears or something crazy like that. I'm just curious. Let me know, Debbie. Because I'm looking right now, I don't see anything about I don't see anything about AstroWorld right now, personally. Oh, also, the reason why I was late is because I actually got to interview Rowan Thurber, the director of the new movie out on Netflix called Red Notice that stars Ryan Reynolds, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, and Gal Gadot. And I'm still piecing that together. He was supposed to be on with me this morning live, but due to some scheduling conflicts, he could not be on. So then, okay. Hold on one second. Y'all are amazing. Hold on. Leave Brittany alone. Wallet. I'm trying to find what. Hold on. Where, Debbie? I don't see what you're talking about. Look at the comment. Thank you, KH. Lamo. Thank
looking
you.
for.
Ooh, I'm not looking for anything right now. I'm just looking for this press conference, y'all. Shoo. So, attorneys announced. Okay, we are going to take a look at this. We're gonna scroll back a little bit because it looks like people have been talking. Snap. Oh, this is going on. This has been going on. Okay, so let's just pull it up. This is gonna be. Oh shoot. Let me make sure you guys can see this. Debbie, thank you so much for the heads up. I'm not going to play this whole thing because it looks like they've been going for about 40 minutes so far. But we can at least take a look at a little bit of it. Yeah, 40, 45 minutes. Hey. Let's take a listen.
What happened that night? As I told you, Attorney Hilliard, Hilliard, Martinez, and Gonzalez, based here in Texas. Attorney Darren Miller, based here in Houston, Texas. Attorney Ray Shackelford, based here in Houston, Texas. Marion Tolan and Charlie Jones from my office here are present. But most importantly, the people present with me are Ms. Gertrude Daughtry, who is seated here because she has severe injuries to her shoulders, her legs, her ankle, most prominent, and the fact that she was on the ground for 15 minutes struggling to breathe. Ooh. You're going to hear from Rena Ihita, who's...
Real quick, do me a favor, hit that like button down below. It would really mean a lot. Like I said, we're going to scroll through this bit by bit, but we're going to let Benjamin Crump do his thing. Man, this dude everywhere. I don't know how he's everywhere, but he is everywhere. I don't know how he does it. Real talk. Every corner you turn, he is there. Man, but let's take a listen. Hit that like button, please. Send those likes all the way up and let people know if you are friends, family, whatever, that missed the other stream because the stream just totally just crashed on us. Please let people know, share this feed, okay? This is breaking right now.
Is experiencing severe post-traumatic stress disorder after witnessing people right near her carried out on stretchers.
Did I call it or did I call it? I'm telling you, people are going to be coming out with this situation. Thank you. They're going to be coming out with this situation. They're going to sit there and go stress, traumatic stress, emotional distress, so on and so forth, just for the fact of being in the same area as some of these people that were being worked on. Real talk. Benjamin Crump is going to be taking care of all this. And yeah, Sue in Raleigh. Seriously, these kids have PTSD. And it's just beginning, y'all. Like I said, 150 people. And that's just the beginning. You got 50,000 people 50,000 people that are all going to say something. They're all going to want to say something. Just saying. They may not be after him for $1 million, but they're going to get a couple grand, and those things add up, one after the other, and you got Benjamin Crump on the case, bruh. This is going to get nasty.
As she also was caught up in the melee. You're going to hear from Dijon Isaac, who was trampled and stomped and had tried to help people who he saw on the ground. You're going to hear from Bryce Nunn, who may be a little delayed trying to find parking, but he has a dislocated knee and is on need crutches to walk. Miss Unica Smith is going to talk to you about how she was crushed, how after she fainted, and how she didn't know if she was going to make it or not, and how she continues to have the recurring nightmare.
Man, Debbie, you wrong. I'm traumatized too. Let me scoop a bag real quick. Snap.
Of what happened. And let me, before Attorney Alex Hilliard comes and talk to you about some of the details in the lawsuit that was drafted, this is not just about
money,
making sure we get justice for these people who have been severely injured. It is also about making sure that Live Nation and all of the organizers, promoters, and anybody else who had anything to do with the failure here that caused people to lose their children. I mean, families lost their high school children, their college children. People were injured greatly. And nobody should ever die from going to a concert. So this lawsuit is not just about getting justice for them, but it's about making sure that the promoters and the organizers know that you cannot allow this to ever happen in the future, even if you have to immediately stop the concert. And we understand, Attorney Hilliard, that there were several people who could have stopped this concert when we saw these tragic circumstances start to occur around the 9:05 time. And we have a timeline that breaks it down. And each and every one of them could have stopped the music, turned on the white hot spotlight board so everybody could see what's going on. Everybody could see who was on the ground. Everybody could see where everybody was at, and everybody could just take a breath.
I mean, you know, he's just tearing a page out of the things I've been saying, so he must be watching my show. I'm just playing, but he's speaking facts. He's spitting nothing but facts right now, right? Dude is going off, and he's doing nothing but speaking facts. Dude could have, all of them could have turned on those lights. They could have had full on control of what's going on. The club, the concert promoters, the producers, and even Travis Scott could have easily jumped up, said, "Hey, we're turning on the lights. I don't give a damn. Turning on the lights." He could have been in mid-sentence, mid-song, and everything turns on. He's like, "What? What's going on?" And they could have been like, "Oh, the reason why is because of this, this, and this." I agree with him 110%. They could have just done their thing. They could have done what needed to be done, which is make sure people are safe. And that's the most important part. Keeping them safe while still having the best times of their lives.
But they didn't do that.
Nope.
And that's what we are saying to Live Nation and everybody involved in the future. Safety must be paramount. As Kristen Blunt says so passionately, I thought it would be safe. I thought it would be safe. That's what all of them thought. They thought it would be safe. They never knew something that was supposed to be a great memory for them. They went with family and friends. They never fathomed that it would be the worst nightmare of their life, where they witnessed people be killed, where they witnessed people crying out in agony as they were trampled on and they were stepped on and they were crushed. They never thought they would be at the concert hearing people say something that we hear far too much now in the past year. People screaming, "I can't breathe." I mean, the videos are everywhere. And when you think about what we're asking people to do, if you were at the concert and you have video on your cell phone, please visit us at AstroWorldClaimsHelp.com to share the videos with us.
I mean, they now even have an email address tailored specifically for Astro. Man, I'm telling you, Travis Scott is about to be seeing lawsuits for years now. He's gonna be fighting this in court for years. Have mercy.
If you witnessed stuff, please call us. If you were injured, please call us, because what we're trying to do is make sure we gather all the evidence so this will never happen again. Also, we sued on behalf of EB in part to get justice for him, but to also ensure that our independent experts could get on the scene of where the crimes took place and they could see for themselves what they described as a war zone. I mean, you had shoes, you had clothes, you had blood spots all out there at the scene. And that was important because it corroborated what our clients have told us, that they were just trying to get out of there. They left their clothes, they left their shoes, they left cell phones. And when you look at that scene, you see for yourself, people were literally fighting for their life just to try to get out of there. And so that's important, and the testimonial evidence is important. So if you have a story to let us know what happened so we can get to the answers of who failed in their responsibilities, because each and every one of them will be held accountable. And these brave victims are going to tell you what they witnessed, so other people hopefully will have the courage to come forward and tell their story. Right now, I have the honor of working with one of the best lawyers and law firms in America based here in Texas, Hilliard, Martinez, and Gonzalez. Attorney Alex Hilliard will talk about some of the details of our lawsuit. Then I'll introduce you to our clients. And then after that, we will have questions and answers so we can try to answer as many of them as we can. Attorney Alex Hilliard.
The evidence in the investigation, which has been underway, including the inspection of the NRG Stadium, has revealed that the criminal behavior in this case started weeks prior to the date of the concert. There was no plan in place for this to happen. They are legally required as the organizers, the risk directors, the security personnel to protect over 50,000 people, and they didn't have a plan. At 9 a.m. when the gates opened, everything was out of control. As soon as the first person gets injured, if there's no plan, chaos ensues. The chaos grew and grew and grew until multiple people, 10 confirmed now, lost their lives.
Wait, what? So there's a 10th person that lost their life? Wait a second. Who's the 10th person? Unless he's got the math wrong. Hold up.
thousands of people injured, and tens of thousands of people who had.
Wait a second. 10? Yeah. Wait, 10? Huh? Who the 10th?
Had to witness as CPR was given to their friends, to their daughters, to their sons, to their young brothers and sisters as they finally escaped a suffocating crowd. Over 45 minutes of torture as they tried to escape, feeling trapped, feeling like they would lose their lives. I promise you, every story from each client is more tragic than the one before it. Because nobody can be trapped like that without oxygen, without any place to move. Combining that with seeing someone die right in front of your eyes. And when you finally do escape that war zone and you get out of that crowd, you see multiple bodies on the floor.
Wait. I see, but that's the thing. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt this, what he's saying here. But he said 10. I've heard other stories saying that there's 11 that have passed, but they haven't said anything about that yet. That's not fully true, right? But they're saying, and Go Foyers says 11 will be the final number of dead. Maybe. I do think that this toll is going to go up. The death toll is going to go up. It's going to be more than just 9. But right now, what the media has been saying, it is 9. If there really is 10 people that have passed, I don't think that this lawyer would come up and sit here and say 10. Why would he say 10 if he don't? He can't be. That would be, maybe he misspoke. But that's interesting for him to say 10 instead of 9, because all we know is the 9 right now. I'm looking, I just Googled it really quick. People are still saying, newspapers and all that are still talking about Barty, of course, and the other 8. So that's still 9 people that we know of right now. But that's interesting. He said 10, yo. 10.
The medical staff was egregiously short-staffed. They did not have enough personnel. They did not have enough stretchers. They did not have enough defibrillators to try to resuscitate all the people whose hearts weren't beating.
I really hope that Ezra did not pass. Maybe that's information that we do not know yet. I mean, my God, I hope he didn't pass. Oh my God, that would be bad. And Ivy Poison, yeah, he said 10 confirmed. He said 10 confirmed now. 10 confirmed now lost their lives. That was his exact wording, exactly. So that he, huh? You feel me? Like, I'm confused right now, y'all. Wait, no, you're lying. No, Carlos, if you messing with me, man, I'm sorry for pausing this. I need to look this up. This cannot be true. This cannot be true. Son of a. This cannot be true, y'all. Let me make sure. He said 10 up in this piece. Please don't tell me Ezra passed. Please don't tell me Ezra passed. Please do not tell me Ezra passed. Today's the 12th. So far, I don't see any person saying anything about Ezra passing. So far. No, they're still saying that he's fighting for his life. I'm like, I need this kid to make it. From what I know so far, this is what they're saying. unless, I'm sorry, guys, I got this window open. Unless something else happened, please don't tell me that. I mean, I hope to God that's not okay. He does correct himself. I mean, shoot, that would. Oh man, I was not ready for that. I was not ready for that.
We
Thank
inspected
you, guys.
the NRG Stadium where this concert took place.
Shoot.
Our experts have confirmed from the evidence that was obtained that this concert never should have been approved in the first place. We are talking about the largest organizer and promoter of festivals and concerts in the world. And when that happens, a failure of epic proportions on this type of scale, it is criminal. It is nothing but criminal. They have a higher duty to protect the public. They sold $350, $400, $450 tickets and decided not to protect even one of their ticket holders. Sadly, a lot of our clients didn't even understand when they bought their ticket, because how could they? That they were actually buying their own death sentence. We are honored to be representing our clients in this case. And at this time, I'd like to introduce to you a few of them so you could hear their stories.
Key question though, you said 10 victims.
Nine.
Clarify, please.
Nine victims. I apologize.
Okay, I was about to say, I was not ready for this little boy to die. I'm not ready for it today. Not today. Okay? I'm just being straight funky. I'm just not ready for it. I would love for it to just stop at 9. Just let it stop at 9. All right? I know that they're saying that there's that little Ezra, 9-year-old Ezra is at the point of no return pretty much right now, but at the same time I'm just like, not today, baby. Not today. Not today. Okay? Not today. Not today. So thank God it's just 9. And I hope it stays there, but we all know that it's not going to. We already know. The inevitable is that we're going to hear some more people passing, and it could cut off at 10, but I've heard 11. I've heard 11, and that maybe they're not giving out that information yet and whatnot, but I've heard 11. But I'm seriously sending out as many positive energies and vibes and vibrations and prayers and all that stuff towards that little boy, because that little boy should still be here. And I hope he makes it. I really do hope he makes it.
Let's stay right there, Alex. Stay.
Woo. Y'all got me tripping. Man, y'all had me tripping there, baby. Oh, let me get to her.
Yes. The AstroWorld Music Festival was by far the most traumatizing experience of my life. I'm a mother of 2, and I went to the festival alone by myself. So I never thought that by attending the festival, I was taking the chance that I would possibly not return home to my children. When I woke up Saturday morning, I found that so many people that I had spoken with in the crowd were exposed to so much trauma. I had no idea that people in the crowd had passed away that night. I was towards the front left-hand stage of the Utopia Mountain stage when Travis Scott began to perform. And the thing that stands out to me the most in my memory is that I remember being crushed from every side by human bodies all around me. When he began to perform his first song, the crowd began to jump up and down. And with so many human bodies contacting your body from every area, with them jumping up and down, there's no way possible for you to maintain your footing. I was not able to stand on my own. We formed a camaraderie of sorts in the crowd to be able to hold one another up so that we do not go down. By the third or fourth song, I remember trying to make my way out of the crowd, and I tapped a woman to the behind me, maybe about 2 people behind me, to the rear. And when I tapped the woman, to ask her to please move out of my way. You can tell that she was kind of having trouble breathing on her own. The next thing I know, the woman began to have a seizure. She was there with her best friend.
Wow.
Her best friend just started screaming out, "Oh my gosh, she's having a seizure. Please, someone get the medic." I'm looking around for the paramedics. I don't see anyone responding. The woman hits the ground, and I'm the next person behind this woman. Her feet are next to my feet. The only thing that I can think of is if I trip over this woman's feet, we're going to create a pileup. There's no way possible that I'm going to be able to get out of this crowd. Thank God there were people around me to help me and help me to remain stable. And the only thing that I kept reassuring myself is that if I can get out of that crowd with the dense air, with all of the heat, with everybody crushing me from every which way, then I'll be able to breathe, to return to normal air. And unfortunately, I made it through the crowd. I fainted as soon as I got through the crowd. I believe that by the time I started trying to leave the arena was around 9:45 p.m. I was caught in the madness and the mayhem until about 2:45 in the morning, not able to return to my children, no cell phone service, no way to Uber home, no way to contact anyone. There was no taxi service. So it was literally like I was trapped downtown by myself where I know no one. I don't know anyone here. So it was truly the most traumatizing experience. And I had no way of even getting back to my car because where my vehicle was parked, I later found out that was the reunification site for the people who had lost their lives during the concert. So I was purposely being rerouted from getting back to my vehicle because the families needed to go and find out whether or not their family members were still alive.
Wow. You know, I see some people are sitting here going like, is she being 100? Is she capping and all that? Oh, I think she's 110% being genuine as hell right now. You can see it in when she's talking. She's shaking like a leaf. She's seriously traumatized. She is deeply traumatized by this situation, and I don't blame her. I'm not throwing shade. You could just see she's reliving it as she's speaking it right now. She's shaking like a leaf, y'all. This is real. This is the real deal Holyfield, y'all. This is crazy. But y'all, I see over almost 1,000 souls watching the show right now. Please, on any of the platforms that you're watching right now, hit that like button down below. Send those likes all the way up, please. Send it past 500 likes. That would really mean a lot. And those of y'all who haven't seen this show before, welcome to the Pascal Show. Hit that subscribe button down below. That would really, really, really mean a lot, okay? This is very impromptu. Shout out to Debbie, one of my mods. I really do appreciate her giving me a heads up about this. Didn't know that there was a press briefing going on with some of the victims and some of the people that are filing lawsuits right now. But what we know right now is 150 plus victims are filing lawsuits against Travis Scott and Live Nation Entertainment. And these are some of them talking out now.
Where my vehicle was parked.
You want to talk about your nightmares?
But the thing is I wonder what other injuries does she have? If she has any injuries. If she's just someone who just got crushed and passed out and woke up, that's one thing. Still doesn't matter. That's still a terrifying experience. But also, I wonder if she has any injuries. You know what I'm saying? Aside from being crushed, right?
I have not. I know for a fact that I'll never attend. I at this point, I feel as if I'm very shaken up with large crowds. I feel like yesterday, for example, I went to the nail salon, and as I'm sitting there, the AstroWorld clips are on every single TV screen. You see people being carried out on stretchers. You don't have the opportunity to even move on with your life. You're forced to relive this over and over and over again. And I know that so many people think that that's helpful. And I know that, you know, everyone has their story, but it just forces you to relive the trauma over and over again. And then there's discussions about it in
That's
person and online about what people in the crowd should have done, and saying, well, if you were in the crowd and you noticed someone dying around you, why didn't you help? I'm not a licensed medical professional. I Only thing that I could think about was me not falling on top of this woman and crushing her to death. I'm not trained in how to respond to a crisis like that. So for people to pass their opinions on how the concert goers should have responded, that's completely inappropriate and traumatizing.
And the reality is, they shouldn't have responded. You should have had specialists, medical people, personnel there, crowd control personnel there, but they did not. And people are in severe need of mental health counseling, because this has had a incredible mental strain on them. These many days later, I'm just watching her body shake as she relives it. It's something that as a community, we're going to have some serious mental health counseling. Thank you so much, Ms. Smith, for sharing your story. How old are your children?
They're 14.
14 years old.
Are they twins or?
Yes.
Yes, twins.
Okay.
Next, we will have Miss Rena Irahita come and tell you. Take your time.
25. I can't put together the words to say. You can't use the words horrifying or anything. I just remember Houston becoming a new home for me and being excited to finally get to share a little bit about what I love about Houston, and having my best friend come into town. And that was all we were looking forward to, this concert, just making memories and everything, and always being on alert, knowing, okay, these concerts are scary, people making jokes about it, but I always like to be aware. I remember that day we were going to get there later, but something just kept telling me, let's go earlier, let's go earlier. We went around 2, and I remember it was just a mess. It was horrible. There was people just walking in and out everywhere. Like, it wasn't organized. You wouldn't see securities. I remember getting to the checkpoint and looking at my best friend and be like, why are there people here? Like, why are they just standing here? There's no one here, covering them. Like, I don't feel safe. I hope everything is okay. Not knowing what happened earlier in the day. Then I finally got in. They never checked my bag or anything. They were letting people pass by with.
We heard this story before. So this is just confirming again. We've heard this, I think, 2 or 3 other times, but the main conversation I had was with Liliana Lopez, who was also a survivor of this squeeze, of this stampede, right? She talked about how security checkpoints were not really doing what they needed to do, weren't checking any of the vaccination cards or paperwork to show that these people were either clear of the vid or been up to date with the poke. None of those things actually happened. No one gave a damn. Security guards didn't care. You know what I mean? Did not care at all. Yuki, thank you so much for becoming a family member. Thank you so much for joining. That really does mean a lot, Yuki. Thank you so much. But this confirms again, and if you haven't gotten a chance to check out that interview, please go check it out. I pulled it out by itself, so it's its own standalone video. Go check it out. You hear firsthand account by this 19-year-old girl. Her name is Liliana Lopez. She talked about her own firsthand experience from walking into the to the festival, and how she got out, and how she was ripped away from her family and all that stuff. It's insane. But once again, this young woman right here is, again, confirming the same story. They weren't checking bags. They weren't doing their due diligence. Security was not doing their due diligence to make sure that every single person that was walking in that piece wasn't carrying some illegal substance or illegal or any type of firearm or weapon. They dropped the ball. They didn't fumble it. They just dropped it on the ground.
with beers, cans, and all these different things. They weren't even checking on anything. I remember getting to the merch and just being like, okay, it's probably crowded in there. Let's see this merch line. Let's wait here. And all of a sudden, you just hear yelling and you just see people running. And I just remember I just got in defense mode and looked at my best friend and told him, we need to leave. We need to get out of here. We're going to get trampled. And I remember him just being like, it's okay. Don't freak out. You're good. You're overreacting. And I'm being like, no, I'm not overreacting. I told you from the beginning, these people are waiting for something. They're waiting to just run in there. Like, everyone knows that people plan this out. And it's just frustrating knowing that I was just a person that never experienced any of this, and I could see it, and not seeing any workers anywhere, no police or anything. And then I got lucky to be able to cut into the right merch line. And I remember waiting there thinking, okay, the chaos is done. I remember seeing people getting thrown on the ground, and I remember making the comment to my best friend, I refuse to ever be at a place and witness someone die in front of me and me not be able to do anything. And I remember thinking, okay, it's settled. People aren't going to come in anymore. I remember seeing security just recording everything, and I'm like confused what's going on. It took some minutes, and finally you see a bunch of sheriffs come in horses. And the annoying thing is, instead of them going to block off the VIP section, preventing from more crazy people to come in, they all just face us. And you just see them recording us. And it was just a horrible feeling, thinking people that's supposed to protect us is just looking at us like we're some fools, like we're supposed to basically protect each other. And I remember just yelling at them, why are you guys pointing at us? Why are you guys intimidating us? We were here. We're trying to avoid all this chaos. I remember 2 hours passed. People were getting really crazy on the left side of the merch. They were blocking it off. They weren't letting people come into that merch line. And I remember just saying, something's crazy is going to happen. I still don't feel comfortable here. And I remember my friends trying to joke off, trying to get me to feel good about it and not overreact like I always do. But I just didn't feel good. And then all of a sudden you just see people cheering, and then everyone just breaks in that line and they get crazy and they started pushing each other just to get merch. And then I remember I was like, no, I was like, my line is short. I know something is going to happen. And I just remember looking back, and then everyone just running, jumping, them pushing us to the side, not caring. And I remember yelling at them, like, why are you guys acting like this? Like, it's nothing. Like, we've been here for hours. Like, at least be respectful. Don't throw us to the side or anything. And I remember just dealing with that for 4 hours, being in that merch line, asking people, can you please give people water? Can you give us this? And I remember security just joking with us, laughing at us, telling us, oh, you guys are okay and everything, trying to joke around about us, about the merch and all these things. And I'm like, this is so insensitive. Thank goodness for that merch line, because I was able to also meet 2 other people. And those 2 other people, we stuck together. It was about 6:30 where we finally were able to go into the event. And I remember, I need to go get water for everyone. I need to make sure that we're good and everything. You guys stay together. And I went with one of my friends. We were in the long lines. You couldn't even get water. The horrible thing is, the free water stations, they only had one in the beginning when you enter, and then one all the way at the end, and no one could see where the porta potties were, and the lines were ridiculous. And the only way that you could get water is if you had a container. And I remember people begging, asking for empty water bottles, asking for anything, and being able to just, okay, I'm gonna take care of my team. And we were good. Little Baby performed. It wasn't that wild. And then it was time to move to the Travis stage. And when I saw people there, I didn't think much of it. I was just like, okay, I hope they're okay. I remember people just suffocating because people were just smoking in the crowds. There was different things going on. And in the type of environment like that, you can't have a lot of the oxygen taken away. And I remember just looking at my friends like, if we need to eat, let's go get everything now. Let's get together and do this and that. Okay, we got food. We came back. We were excited. We're like, okay, all that traumatizing stuff, let's put it to the side, hoping everything is going to be good. I remember just looking everywhere, and then my friends warning me about everything. They remember them telling me, it's going to get really pressured here. Make sure that you know that you can breathe good. Make sure that you have space. Make sure that if you feel claustrophobic, you go sideways. Do not go forward. Do not go straight. Do not do anything. Go sideways and try to leave, because it will get packed here. And then I remember just having people literally push us, cut us in front of us. I had guys that were 6 feet tall in front of me talking about we're going to rage right here. One of them had crutches. I remember him saying, I'm going to hit people with this crutch, and just making signals and stuff like that. And I remember just having anxiety and telling my friend, I can't do this. I know you're joking around about it, saying that it gets really pressured and you can't breathe, but I just can't. And I remember looking at the two people that I saw there, and then all of a sudden someone just fell on us. And that's what honestly freaked me out the most. And I looked at them and I told them I can't do this. And it was literally 1 minute left for the countdown for him to come out.
Wow.
The moment I heard that time go down and that annoying music finally stopped, which I can't stop hearing that music, by the way. Like,
People have been talking about this music, right? The frequencies and the music that was playing before he went on, and saying how it was just getting people hype. Like it was just it was creating an energy in the room, creating an energy in the area, a vibration, a vibe that was really, really bad. And obviously she's talking about just something that happened 1 minute before he even went on stage, y'all. That's insane.
every day is just playing back and forth, and it's just traumatizing. And I remember just looking at them and telling them, I can't do this. I can't. I have to go. And the thing that breaks my heart the most is I don't know if one of the people there is still severely injured or not. And I remember just seeing newses, and I hate that people are making false claims saying that someone died. And I'm me trying to figure out, okay, is this person good or not? Why didn't I tell them to leave with me? Because the moment that countdown went down, my and my friends just grabbed each other and we went sideways. And I remember everyone just pushing forward, and it was hard breathing, but we were able to get out, and we were in a section away from everyone. But I remember the whole time I just kept looking around. I was like, this doesn't feel good. Something's going on. And I remember him just saying words like, I need this stage to feel, I need an earthquake. And I was saying, why is he telling people that? I'm seeing a bunch of emergency response. I barely see anybody around. There was no security everywhere. It wasn't organized very well. I remember people just begging for water and me getting mad. Why is it you guys have so much money? Why can't you just give free water for everyone? The water was selling out, and it was hard for people to get it. The concert was done, and we all just thought, okay, it's just a concert. People are probably just dehydrated, they fell and everything. And literally, the last moment that I turned around, I witnessed someone on the ground. They were getting compressed, and there was an EMT machine on them. And I just remember yelling at the paramedics, please do your job. You're not doing it right. You're not taking care of him. And just yelling. And then you just see them literally grab the body and just throw it in a cart like nothing. And that broke my heart, because all I wanted to do was go and run behind them to make sure that that person was okay, but I couldn't, because everyone was trying to leave, and it was just chaotic. And leaving that place was horrible. I lost my friends. I got lucky that I knew where my parking lot was, but all that moment, I didn't know how crazy everything was, because I had no service. And then waking up the next morning, having calls and texts from people asking, are you okay? Are you good? This and that. And I was wondering what's going on. And then finally looking at the news and seeing the stuff that I saw wasn't just what I was thinking, was really more than traumatizing.
Have mercy.
That word can't even, I can't even speak of it, because it's such a horrible feeling, thinking that I witnessed someone lose their life right in front of me, and have people there just say, oh, it's drugs, or it's just this and that. And me saying it's a life, that it could have been more. And then seeing the face of who it was breaks my heart to this day. And it's horrible, because all of this could have been prevented before the event could have even happened.
Exactly.
Facts.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sí. Lo que ocurrió en este evento era bien horrífico. Yo pienso que todo eso se podía ser menos, pero la seguridad no nos importaban. La gente se reía a nosotros. I'm sorry.
You did fine.
It's a lot.
And
Like, real talk, this is a lot. I mean, for any person that had to deal with this kind of thing, I mean, this is a lot, right? You hear her whole account of everything, and it's just, she's just spewing it out. I mean, it's traumatizing, y'all. And I'm, like I said, some people weren't injured. Some people got out, were able to get out without getting injured. Some people were actually injured, but I'm telling you, every single person that had to deal with any type of traumatizing experience within this festival will be suing Travis Scott and Live Nation without a shadow of a doubt. This woman, yes, she probably has a few scrapes and bruises, right? But the one thing, those things are going to heal. But the one thing that's going to be with her forever is this experience. All of these people, all of them, they're walking, they're talking, they're doing fine. They're not 6 feet under, if you know what I'm saying, right? But they will always have this experience. They will always have this traumatizing experience of almost dying, getting out by the skin of their teeth type of situation. Cam, you ain't wrong. PTSD is no joke. It is not a joke. And it will get some people for real. And there's a lot of people that are out here, thousands of people that were involved with this whole situation that will never forget this. Will never be okay with going into a large crowd or a large place where there's a large gathering, because that PTSD is going to start spiking. Let's go on to this next guy real quick. There's a fella here.
It's DISHON. So I was on the left side of the stage.
Real quick, I see a bunch of y'all tuning in, over 1,400 souls watching right now on all platforms. Please hit that like button down below. Send those likes past 700 likes. That would really mean a lot. And of course, crush that subscribe button if you are watching this show for the very first time. This is very impromptu. Didn't know that there was going to be a press conference of this magnitude today. So if you can show me a little bit of love, I'd really appreciate it. Hit that like button down below. Send those likes all the way up. That would mean a lot.
About 45 minutes prior to Travis coming out is when it started to get intense. There was pushing that started happening behind us. Fights were breaking out. People were throwing water bottles. It was basically a war zone. And it just got worse and worse the closer to when Travis was coming out. I think around the 5-minute mark, the push.
I did get the Cash App a little bit. Thank you so much for sending me that Cash App. That does really mean a lot as well. Let's continue.
Began to be so aggressive. Each time I would be pushed, I'd almost touch the ground. Back and forth, back and forth. And at this point, you're at the mercy of the crowd. We were packed in so tight. We were like sardines in a can. And the feeling was like, imagine someone coming up behind you and bear hugging you as hard as they possibly can. And it's just bodies. So around 5 minutes, people started falling over. And I just remember the look of terror on people's faces around me. Everyone realized, like, we have to get out of here. And I remember there was a girl next to me, and before the pushing had started, she was just saying that she knew she wasn't going to enjoy the concert because she was already, like, I'm tall, so I was able to get air on the top, but everybody else basically was getting suffocated. And so when the pushing started happening, as soon as Travis came out, I felt the flames, and I realized I had to get out of there. I was going to get crushed to death. So I started making my way out, and basically I was telling people to back up. Hey, we're trying to get out. People were rushing the stage. There was one point where someone said, everyone put their hands up. I put my hands up, and I wasn't able to get them back down. When I finally got them back down, I basically teamed up with the people immediately around me, and I told everyone, like, get low and, like, basically put your arms out like this so you can create some space for yourself. And so we're doing that, and I'm starting to make my way out. I hit a fence on the side where a bunch of people had fallen down, and the whole time, like, I'm trying to pull people up, and I'm pulling someone up. There's people on the ground trying to, like, use me to pull themselves up. And I just remember thinking, like, if I fall, it's over for me. So I find a way to get off the wall, and I start going to the back. I'm making my way through the crowd. The whole time the pushing is still happening. The crushing is still happening. And I reach a point where I'm losing consciousness. And I'm like, I look above the crowd. I don't see an end in sight. And I just feel like people pushing me from behind. And finally I hit a pocket of air. And at that point, I just go as fast as I can through the crowd. That night I was wearing a sweater like this and a hoodie, and I sweated through both of them completely. Like I literally took off my hoodie and I could squeeze it out, and there was sweat. I got to the end and I sat on the sidewalk and just sat there like in a daze for minutes. I just remember bodies everywhere, like limp bodies, people pulling bodies out of the crowd. The minute Travis came out, I went with a friend and I turned around and looked for him. He was gone. There was no cell phone service. So finally, when I went far back enough, he called me and was like, bro, where you at? I spent 20 minutes on the ground, and there was a girl next to me who was for sure dead. And I didn't realize that people, other than that experience, a day later, he sent me an ABC News article saying that 2 people had died that were standing literally right next to me. And I'll never forget the look of terror on people's faces. That's the thing that sticks with me the most. I remember there was a girl at one point who was holding my hand. I didn't know this girl whatsoever, but she held my hand. I held her hand as long as I could until eventually I lost her in the crowd.
Man.
But yeah, that was pretty much experience.
Woo! That's some intense stuff, y'all. And like I said, his account, he is not the only one, right? There are hundreds of, if not thousands of other people that will be giving out their same testimonies that are exactly like this. I guarantee you that.
In a nutshell.
Thank you.
It's a war zone.
And why is it that Deshaun and others had to try to come up with safety plans for an escape route? Where were the crowd control personnel there?
Where were they? We already know. They were doing selfies and making videos and hitting on girls and trying to have a great time. Like I've said before and a million times over, living their life like it was golden, not doing a damn thing. They were enjoying the concert. They were kicking it hard. They were getting paid to see one of their favorite artists or some of their favorite artists. They weren't there to do their job, to make people safe. I mean, I can answer that question. Real talk, Benjamin Crump.
Where were the medical personnel there to help them?
Understaffed. And some of them underqualified. That's what was going on with the medical staff. They were understaffed, overwhelmed, and some of them were underqualified.
I mean, it is malfeasance on every level. And that's why we have to get the answers. We cannot have where people go to a concert and they die. That is unacceptable. In 2021, it is so preventable. This was so preventable. People sometimes try to say, well, you weren't physically injured like Miss Daughtry or Mr. Nunn, who's on crutches. What's the problem? They have severe mental issues. Post-traumatic stress disorder is very real. And we're hearing it over and over again. These people are not able to just turn the page and go back to normal. And we as a society should take very seriously their mental health after this tragedy. And we're saying to Live Nation and everybody, don't try to sweep this under the rug as if it's not real. It is real. It's very real. Thank you.
How do we spell your last name?
It's
Miss Daughtry come to you. She's having some.
yes. I ended up walking home from NRG after that.
To where?
A Museum District, Montrose area.
Now we're going to have Miss Daughtry come to you. She's having some problems ambulating, so we're going to assist her. Take your time.
I've never experienced anything It's like, I just literally thought I was gonna die. I was like, I never thought that going to entertainment would turn out to be such a disaster. It was a nightmare that I never forget. I can't sleep at night. Every time I close my eyes, I see it. It's just, I'm lost for words for it. Never seen so many people on the ground fighting for their life. Never know that you will buy a ticket and it will be your death ticket. It's just, it's devastating. It's like a nightmare. I don't even like talking about it.
And that's her mental injury. Can you tell a little bit about your physical injury, Ms. Daughtry? And
When I fell to the ground. My back, I was walked on. If it wasn't for my brother, I probably wouldn't even be here today. But we managed to get out the crowd. But I was walked on my back, my leg. I already had my ankle messed up, and it got injured. It was like I couldn't breathe.
This woman was there. That's insane. That was quick. That was a quick testimony, but okay. Let's get on to the next.
And I will spell it loud so everybody here. Gertrude, Gertrude. Absolutely, everybody. Everybody. His name is on the lawsuit, but Live Nation, we don't ever want it to get lost. That Live Nation is the largest concert promoter in the world. They do these every day. If Travis Scott is accountable, he absolutely should be held accountable. But don't forget that Live Nation does this every day, all day, every part of the world. So if we want the change to make sure people are going to be safe, we got to be talking to the person who is the parent corporation, the industry leader. That's the only way you get change. That's the only way we save lives. We don't just point at the little people, we point at all of them, and we don't let the big people get away.
Mr. Crump,
yes.
This morning, a spokesman for Travis Scott said it was hours before he and some of the other folks in his circle knew about the extent of the tragedy. Do you buy that?
We're investigating everything. We're not taking anybody's word for anything. That's why we had all our experts out there on the scene, meticulously documenting. We're getting all of the audio from all the 911 transactions. We won't leave not one I undotted or one T crossed because they matter. They deserve that. Israel deserves that. People who lost their lives deserve every question to be answered. So we're not going to let anybody off the hook. Yes, ma'am.
Firefighter logs that go line by line every minute leading up to the murder. I know you mentioned that criminal intent was shown weeks before. So are you guys looking at those logs? Have you seen them, or what do you think?
We have seen throughout the investigation, we have seen evidence from the logs. It does show that there was knowledge on behalf of the promoters, on behalf of the security and for-profit medical corporation that was hired to be there to protect people. This was a mass casualty event and should have been shut down long before it actually was finally shut down by the HPD, the Harris County Police Department. The logs only detail a tragic timeline of understanding and knowledge from these corporations that people were dying and that steps should have been taken to shut the concert down, and nobody did anything.
Yes, sir.
Question for Deshaun, some of the survivors.
Deshaun, y'all want to come up? If y'all can come up, we're with you. And if you don't want to answer a question, just say, step a little closer.
Of
Nico,
organizers
you step a little closer.
while you're going through that help.
I don't know if the performers were aware. I feel like once I got out, I saw Travis stop the concert once or twice to make sure people who had passed out were helped out. But other than that, I was honestly, I couldn't pay attention to really much at the time. I was just trying to process what had just happened.
Any other questions?
You mentioned that there were sheriffs on forces. Was that sheriffs or was that police? You know, if you describe this a little bit more of you trying to get outcomes, and what was their attitude?
I wouldn't. I'm sorry. I wouldn't know the diff.
And that was Rena.
Oh,
Rena, can you describe
Horses.
that there were sheriffs on horses?
She can't hear your question. Ask your question
You
again.
described that there were sheriffs there on horses. Was that the sheriffs or do you know?
To be honest, I just heard everyone in the crowd yelling the sheriffs, and then I remember having to get on my tippy toes and seeing them, so I wasn't really sure like what I saw, but I know that
Did they end up helping anybody or?
no, to be honest, what they were doing, like what they would do is when people were still coming in, because the thing is they didn't block off the VIP entrance. What they were doing is we're just scaring people with the horses, and I remember just seeing the horses being very distressed too, and being very like incorrupted. They didn't want to work with the people because they were distressed too. And I remember them just walking around and just recording. Honestly, I didn't see them try to help anybody. The people that did stop, the people that broke in were the other security, the people that were hired. But I didn't see any of them do. And then throughout the event, they weren't there. I literally would just see the same two police officers. I didn't see any more throughout the event.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you believe there's anything more that the Houston Police Department could have done at the site of the concert as it was going on, or were their hands tied just like the fire?
Well, we're investigating everybody and everyone. We think that there was failure of responsibility on every level, and we want all those questions answered. One of the things, you get emotional because these were such preventable losses, and as you get to know the families, it just hits you. I have a 9-year-old daughter, and I just keep thinking about how Israel parents, what could be going through their mind when you are going to a family festival that has been promoted like that. They have so many children who are fans because of Fortnite, because of McDonald's, kids meals that, had Travis Scott. And so you knew this was going to be family oriented because you promoted it to the world. And so it really is about, attorney here, when I get involved in a case, it's really not just about trying to get justice for this family or that person. It's about trying to make change. Thurgood Marshall would always say, no, we're not just fighting for this individual. We're fighting to have a greater impact on the larger society. And they have concerts and music festivals all over the world. And if it can happen here in Houston, it can happen in your city too. So what I'm trying to do, what we're committed to doing, is trying to have a change in the industry for the better.
He ain't wrong. This is an opportunity for places like Live Nation and the sort to start taking people's safety at these live events seriously. This is the time. This should have been before this, right? Stuff like this should have happened way before this ish even happened. This type of situation, this tragedy, this travesty should not have happened, right? Because place promoters like Live Nation and the sort should be taking care of the safety of every single last one of their concert goers or their patrons or their customers to make sure that they have the best experience, but also the safest experience of their lives. But they didn't care. They've been cutting corners, shaving pennies, and all that stuff. Hiring whatever security company that they hired that happened to be maybe the lowest price, the lowest bid for this particular event, just so people can go and kick it. And so that they can secure as many bags as humanly possible. But this is a multi-million-dollar festival that they were banking on. They were about to make millions of bags off of this situation. Stacks, baby. But unfortunately, they made the wrong choices, cutting as many corners as they could, which is the stupidest thing they could have ever done.
Who's named in the lawsuit?
Oh, we got the lawsuit available. If you go to press@bencrump.com, we will provide. Oh, everybody, absolutely. Yes. You can go look back at all our lawsuits. We have 20 defendants named, and that number is growing.
And Deshaun said he was standing next to some people who had passed away. Deshaun, do you know who that was?
I believe it was the guy's name who starts with a D. It was the one who was trying to save his fiance, and that's the reason why I remember them. Yeah. And then I think it was James or Jake was the other one.
Jacob.
Yeah.
Jacob, maybe.
I think so.
Was that at the fence that you were talking about?
No, this was before like the shoving and everything started. They were, I think, to the right of me, and then I remember the fiance trying to get out and like trying to help her like get between me.
Deshaun's ran this and it was ages, please.
Sorry, what was that? Oh, 31.
Yeah, right now. 25, and Unique 34, mother of twins. Attorney Hilliard, I'll try to take one or two more questions. And yes.
Can I ask this for you, as well as possibly one of the victims, and of course, I'm sorry for what you went through. You were talking about change, and obviously that's long term. Can you speak, and also possibly one of the victims, because I'm sure you guys have thought about it, what change do you want to see? What could you see changing in the industry?
Sir, I'll go first, and then Attorney Hilliard, and then if any other witnesses. You know, when you think about crowd control, they know how many tickets they sold. You know how big the arena is. You can predict and strategize what to do. You have to have, I'm sure the demographics, you have to have proportionality. For every 100 people or every 200 people, we need to have a medical provider. We need to have a security personnel. We need to have a escape route. We need to have a plan. We want them to be more vigilant in preventing, not being reactive, but be proactive. And that's what we think was lacking here. They were not proactive in dealing with all of the foreseeable things. It is not Deshaun Isaac's job to come up with an escape route. He was a customer. He had paid money to purchase the ticket. He wanted to just come and enjoy the show. Thanks. He didn't know that he was going to have to be a emergency life care provider at the show. He didn't know he was going to have to be a law enforcement officer trying to clear the path. He didn't know he was going to have to be a mental health counselor trying to hold on to the young lady's hand who he didn't know to try to encourage her just to stay together. Miss Daughtry on the ground, as she told us in our intake, she thought she was going to die on the ground. They should have had people in place to be able to deal with crowd control and deal with safety. And so whether there's some policy or whether there's some regulations that have to be passed, you can never have people go to a concert and die. I mean, unjustifiable deaths.
Dropping facts. What he just said was beautifully said, beautifully explained. When you walk into an event walk into a space, you're not sitting there thinking that you have to wear all these different hats. You're not thinking that you have to be a paramedic, medical staff. You don't think that you have to be security or anything of those things. What he's saying right here is facts on top of facts on top of facts on top of facts. Hence the reason why every single last person that's filing a lawsuit right now has every right to file a lawsuit right now. They have grounds for a strong argument, for a strong case, and could possibly walk away with exactly what they're suing Travis Scott, Live Nation Entertainment, and the sort for. Without a shadow of a doubt. These guys, I'm sure a lot of them will be settled outside of court for probably a much lesser amount of money. But every single last person that is going to file, which right now it's 150 plus people that are charging right now, filing lawsuits right now, a lot of them are going to walk away with multiple bags, especially the ones that have lost a loved one or have been severely injured physically, not only just emotionally, not only just mentally, but physically injured during this travesty, as some are calling it right now. You know, it is a damn shame that this has even happened. But if Live Nation and the powers that be that put together this whole entire event really cared about putting their ish together, there wouldn't be any lawsuits because people would still be alive right now. The surge would not have happened, right? Or maybe the surge would have happened, but maybe some more people would still be alive right now. Less people would have died in this situation. But because of negligence, because of lack of care, people died. And now hundreds, if not thousands of people walked away with trauma, with severe trauma. Now, the thing is that this 150 plus people, right, that are filing for lawsuits, filing to sue not only Live Nation, but also Travis Scott, not all those people were on TikTok telling their stories. Imagine the amount of TikTokers and the amount of social media posts that have been made by individuals recanting their experience at AstroWorld. It's mind-blowing. And I guarantee you, some of those guys have not even filed a lawsuit yet. But they are. Oh, don't worry. They are. It's coming, y'all. And it sucks that any of this transpired. Any of it. If Live Nation and Travis Scott and the people, his team, Travis Scott's team, really gave a damn, shoot. And let's not forget HPD. Let's not forget about Houston's finest. If they all actually gave an F, this would have been a different situation. But there you have it, y'all. As we saw, that's the full press briefing from what I understand. Yeah, that was the full press briefing. And real talk, I mean, there are so many people, like you saw, so many people of all types of ethnicities, ages, all that stuff were traumatized, either physically, mentally. All those people were not just a bunch of teenagers. That spanned the entire age range that was there, it seems like. Of course, Ezra is the youngest that we know of. I mean, they show footage of an actual toddler out here in these streets at the actual event, right? Now, I know that I'm supposed to be talking about this story about Josiah more. I'm going to hold off on that one because we have been on for a minute, and I am going to talk about it on another time. I'll probably talk about it later this evening if I have time. But I do want to open up the chat lines real quick because I want to get you guys' opinions. I want to hear your thoughts on this just for a short while. Because, obviously I was on a little bit earlier, but the StreamYard wanted to be a big pain in the ass to me for some weird reason. But please hit the link above. Okay. Hit the link above. I'd love to hear your thoughts on what we just watched, what transpired. Right? What are your thoughts on this? Okay. Hit the link above and let's have a conversation. Quick conversation, but let's have a conversation. Okay. And of course, don't be shy. This is a crazy story, y'all. But of course, before anybody, if you guys are going to walk off or, log off or whatever, please be sure to hit that like button down below. Send those likes all the way up. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Okay. We're going to continue this conversation. I'm hopefully going to have a lawyer on tomorrow to talk about the legalities, right? Can Travis Scott see criminal charges against him? That's the question, right? So hopefully we will have a lawyer on tomorrow or this evening. I don't know yet, to chop it up with me and with us so we can hear that too. Because could he see criminal charges in the near future? That's a question. We got Madeline Reed in the house. Hello, Madeline.
Hello, Pascal. How are you?
I am good. So what's on your mind? Speak on it.
Well, I would just like to say that, first of all, as a native Houstonian who was born and raised there, I am appalled and disturbed that this would happen in my beloved city. Of course, Texas has been messing up a lot lately, in my personal opinion. But I would also like to mention, I find it interesting that nobody's trying to get the crowd that was there to have any responsibility. And I'm not talking about the victims, obviously. They were obviously trying to get out because they could tell something was going down. But what about concert goers? Why is nobody trying to say anything about them? It's not like Travis Scott was out there pushing people forward. It wasn't like Live Nation was out there with their people pushing people forward and
True.
You know what I mean? Like, people need to have their own self-discipline.
Right. That is a very good question, right? As like we played a few days ago, the medic, right? The paramedic that was like, hey, I was stationed here, I was hired to do this job, so on and so forth. And he's like, hey, it's not only just on Travis Scott or the venue itself or the promoters, it's also on the selfish people that were involved with that crush. And they are not wrong, or you are not wrong with that theory or that thought, that it wasn't like Live Nation went over and shoved everybody together. It wasn't like Travis Scott ran over and pushed everybody together. That was all people's doing, right? That was all
because we all have free will, and
right.
And from growing up in Houston, I know for a fact that it was mostly the people. Just look, Houston was just desperate to get crunk. First of all, seeing somebody in concert, because music is a pretty big deal in Houston, and there's also, like with any other city, there's also a lot of violent crime that happens. Mm-hmm. So you got most of the majority of the people, especially the younger people that have grown up with this, and they see that, and unfortunately a lot of them portray that as well. Right. And they, everybody's, I think the pandemic has really made a lot of people selfish. So all of
Absolutely.
these factors on top of each other. You got young people who don't know any better. You got young people who think they know everything. You got people who have just been locked up too long. People worried about whether or not they're going to have a home. Last winter with the whole power situation, that summer with Harvey, Houston been going through a lot. So
No doubt. I mean, well, so I'll say this. Yes, there is truly you are not wrong with the free will, right? People have the choice to do whatever the hell they want and all that. There is free will. We did discuss this a couple days ago on a evening show because I was sitting there going like, well, we can easily sit here and say, oh yeah, people were, it was the spirits and the demon,
oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
The evildoer spirits just coming through and all that stuff like that. And it's like, wait a second, what about free will? People wanted to go kick it. People wanted to get, drunk, high, whatever, and have the greatest
crunk. They
life.
wanted to get crunk.
Now, the thing is also, too, is like they wanted to get in front, get as close to the stage and all that as well.
Oh, yeah.
But the thing is that there were no people trying to stop it from happening, trying to stop it
absolutely
from continuing to excel and grow and get more chaotic. No one tried to do anything about that. They just let it be what it is. You saw security guards filming and having a great time. These guys that were just wearing yellow jackets, basically just muscle for hire, having a grand old time. You saw cops doing the same damn thing. If they were doing their due diligence and making sure that the crowd was safe, then maybe they would have quelled this squeeze. You see what
I totally agree. And I'm not trying to take any fault away from any of them. I'm just saying.
Not saying that you are.
I know those people. I know those people. And every event I've ever been to, there's been the people. And I'm pretty sure it's everywhere. But there are those people that just like to push forward.
Yes.
And when there's nobody to stop them, they're just going to be like, oh, I'm getting away with this. I'm going to see how far I can get until I get stopped. And they're not getting stopped. Exactly. And then, of course, you have the police chief just messing around at the front of the stage. Like,
it's
hello?
A long story short, it is a very, very bad, very, very bad look on their part.
Oh, yeah. And they're corrupt as hell. So,
but I do have Violet Dream in the house. Violet Dream, hey. Hello. Hello, Violet Dream. I guess we.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. Hello, hello.
Hello.
So what's on your mind? Speak on it.
To be honest, I know a lot of you are blaming security on this. I am an event security guard as well in my state.
Okay.
I did look at some footage, and to be honest with you, if I was in that situation, I would get fired like right on the spot, to be honest with you. Like, I had many situations when I was just like, gee, I want to go look at the event. And my supervisor said, if you leave your post, you will get fired for putting danger on everyone else's in the building. Like, you shouldn't. Rule number 1 is security. Do not leave your post unless you got authorized to leave your post.
Interesting. But it's interesting, though, real quick, with what you're just saying right there. There were security guards that left their post.
Yeah.
Inside the crowd, filming and having the time of their lives, putting their arms up in the air, doing selfies and taking photos. Guys then now we have accounts of security guards going off and just busy trying to get phone numbers from girls and trying to have their time, the time of their lives, instead of actually staying in their post and trying to protect people. So you're right when you say that you would have been fired because you would have left your post to make sure people were safe. And I commend you for that. But these people were people of hire, and they like muscle for hire. And these people weren't even doing what they were supposed to do. They didn't even stand their ground, stand in their own post. They were inside the groups. They were inside the crowd, contributing to the squeeze.
Yeah. I had this talk with one of my supervisors. I saw footage of this. We had a group meeting with everyone in the industry, and saying the things you should not do, because everyone in the building was shocked when they saw that security were just like doing their own little thing, and everyone was just disgusted. I'm not kidding. Everyone just like, this, you should not do this. If you're gonna be a security officer or any event security officer, rule number one, keep everyone safe and do not leave your post by any means at all. If you do, you will probably get fired. You're probably not going to get paid, or you're probably going to get sued in case if someone, let's just say, sneaks in, like, I don't want to be sounding rude to anyone. Let's just say they sneaked in like drugs. If I was caught, I would get fired like right on the spot from like saying, oh, you let this in and you're going to put tons and tons and tons of people's in dangers and lives in danger because of your actions, because you did not caught it.
Yep. No one, but see, that's the thing. They're now saying now, right? You know, the day after and beyond now, up to today, saying that security guards were looking through, did not go through bags.
Yeah.
Just let people in. Somebody could have walked in with a firearm. Somebody could have walked in with a syringe filled with opioids, even though now that's not the entire truth.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Anybody could have done anything. It could have turned into the Wild Wild West in that festival, right? There were people that were walking in. There was a guy holding a sign that said LSD for $15. So, I mean, there was literally anything and everything that you can think of. It was Amsterdam up in this piece.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if you're not going to do the job, then why do the job, right?
Yeah.
Why get hired to do said job? They cut corners by bringing in people that were not properly vetted, that were not qualified for the job. And that's where they messed up, because every security person knows that if you're going to do a security checkpoint and go through bags, you go through the bags, baby. You don't just go, oh, you got a bag? Okay, cool. Keep going.
Yeah, because I can also blame Live Nation for this too, because they were fully in charge. Mostly the security officers they're going to hire, the police officers are going to hire, the medics. I could see Live Nation blaming about like mostly like 80% of the blames, because Live Nation has full control who they can hire and who has the proper training, because Live Nation doesn't have control of, oh, they're getting hired by this person, and they don't have control going over the personal information of the people's information, because that's private and they cannot go through the individual's information because that's privacy. And I just feel like Live Nation can be responsible as that as well, because they put tons and tons and tons of people's lives in danger.
Yeah, they most definitely did, and that's where they dropped the ball. Madeline?
Sorry, I was going to say, I think for occasions like this, when it comes to hiring security, you're going to throw privacy out the window. When it comes to them acquiring information, I mean, not when it comes to somehow that information getting out outside of Live Nation, but I'm pretty sure they would do that anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. Lisa Clay is with us. Hello, Lisa. Can you hear us?
Yeah.
What's on your mind? Speak on it.
I'm 50 years old, so I've been around for a long time, and I went to a lot of rock shows that would have mosh pits and craziness going on, and 100%. I've been in a situation where I was in a crush, and my boyfriend got me out, and it was fine. I was okay. But I think Travis could have had some control over the crowd. They idolize him, they look up to him, they would have done what he told them to do. Simply because 100%. I was in a show called Ozfest in the mid-90s, and Pantera was on the stage, and there was close to 150,000 people, and 5 different mosh pits, and it was getting ugly. And the vendor, or not the vendor, but the venue said, cut it out or we're shutting you down.
Mhm.
And the lead singer, Phil, stopped the show and said, everybody stop, no more jumping around, no more moshing. I want to see everybody standing in one spot and headbanging, and all 140,000 fans listened to him. So Travis could have stopped that show.
Absolutely.
He could have stopped them from being violent and crazy.
Well,
because
to
he had
defend
that
him
control.
though, if to defend him though, if you're on stage, you can only see out into the crowd so far. And this is a very large event center. And even though you can see out pretty far, you can't really see what's going on. So, if he saw anything, spoke up about it, and then moved on, well, how is he?
But
Yeah,
Phil didn't see anything.
okay, but at the same
Producers
time,
told him.
like, if people that were supposed to be working security were not communicating to their bosses because nobody was around, nobody was actually doing their job, nobody can convey that to the appropriate people who could convey it to Travis Scott so that he could understand the severity of the situation and what was going on. And then he could have said something. But apparently nobody was doing their job.
Like, I also want to point out, like, how as a security guard, you need to have your walkie on hand. You cannot say, "Oh, I have an issue," and just ignore it. You can, like, I don't want to like offend anyone,
I understand
but
that. But
yeah.
at the same time, I saw video of Travis coming. I saw video of 2 producers coming onto stage and telling Travis what was going on, and he brushed them off.
Actually, correction. He didn't brush them off. Those are also hype men. They came on because I looked at that like crazy too. I was like, bruh, was he really just stopped by some people off stage, some of his crew, and then did he just shove them off? No. Actually, what happened is they were up there to hype the crowd. So when he went up there, or when those guys showed up came up to him, they were basically trying to make sure, like, is it time to do our thing? And then he turns back around to the crowd, and then they jumped into the crowd on either side. On either sides of the stage, and then started going crazy. They were hype men. They were all part of like getting the place hype. So just to correct that, it was because I saw that too, and I was like, man, that is a video that explains everything. But once I saw that, I was like, once I saw the whole thing, I was like, oh, okay, they're just part of the show. They were all part of the show. But I do have Izzy.
My God.
Crazy, right, Lisa? But I do have Izzy in the house. Hello, Izzy.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. So what's on your mind? Speak on it.
I was just saying in the chat, I'm not one to comment on any of this, live chat or anything like that. When somebody does their live stream, I just kind of listen, sit back, and do my own commenting in the background. But this one kind of got me because everybody's blaming Travis and blaming the cops and blaming this and blaming that. You made a good point, and so did the young lady that was speaking earlier, and said that we lost a lot of being human to another human with COVID. We lost a lot of human touch. 1. 2, I believe security guards were very inexperienced. They just picked people pretty much off the street, gave them a job for the day. And then there were very little of them altogether. I wasn't there. I live in New Jersey. I'm very far from Houston, Texas. But I feel, and I am 100% sure that if there was more security that was more competent, it would have been better. Yes, Travis could have stopped the show. Yes, Travis had a good vantage point on the whole crowd from up there. But I don't think the artist should be blamed because in all actuality, too, the artist kind of leans back on their planning and their production and their crew to get all this done as well. So if anything, I would blame him and, you know, the people that put it together. Because really, if that big crowd would have been stopped, like you said, don't do that, they'll stop doing it. There's another lady that talked about it at another concert that she was at years ago in the 90s that I remember. I wasn't there, but I remember. And yeah, there's if you stop a crowd from, you know, jumping on a speaker, they'll stop.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you come up to somebody that is doing something wrong and stop them, maybe the next person won't feel inspired to do it better than the first person did, and then create chaos. You know, so I ran into your show last night. I just want to give you props. It was really interesting to me at the moment that I stopped at it, and I was listening to the commenting and the talking, which is what made me come out just now and say that. And also this youth is lost in a lot. They've lost a lot of touch with things that, like danger, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of walking right into it, can you stop, look at it first, and see what you want to do, and decide? You know, I have an 18-year-old and a 17-year-old. My 17-year-old is autistic, and she doesn't understand a lot of these things. But what if you were to say, okay, she's 17, but she's 17 and she's autistic at a concert, God forbid, and something happens? And I'd be the bad parent because I let my daughter go. She's autistic.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? I believe that there's a lot to do with parenting. There's a lot of kids that should not have been there for their age.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, you know, it's an all around thing. It's not just one finger pointing at one group of people or one person that one, you know, individual or group of individuals that you believe is at fault.
Right.
It's very tragic.
Right. And Izzy, you ain't wrong with what you're saying. I mean, I've said it a million times before, and I'll say it again now. And I'm sure I'm sounding like a broken record, but I think this was a perfect storm of really bad choices on all entities that were involved, all organizations that were involved, that turned into a perfect storm, a trifecta of just really bad choices that all came to a head, that caused this travesty to happen, this tragedy to actually happen. Because so there isn't one culprit, right? There isn't just one person that is the bad guy, right? You know, Travis should not only be the only person being blamed in this, but he is part of it. But he is most definitely part of it. He had control of the situation, or he had the opportunity to control the situation, and he did not. But you can still drag that whole thing over to Live Nation and who they decide to hire for security, for the security company, right, that was hired. Then you can blame the security company that actually hired all the security people that were hired that were not qualified to do any of the job that they were hired to do. You can blame it on the medical staff and the medical staff that was also not fully qualified to do what they needed to do. I mean, it's not only just Travis Scott, but unfortunately, he is the face, he is the name. It is AstroWorld. This is not, this festival was not called Them Festival and him just featuring in this piece. He is a festival.
Yeah.
Of course, he's going to get a lot of the brunt of it. He's not a scapegoat. He's just he is one of the main persons of interest with this situation because his name and his signature and his DNA is all over this festival. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
My biggest point was how
it
trickles down from, like you said.
Say that again. I'm sorry. Say that again one more time.
It just trickled down from the moment it started, like putting it all together. It seems like it was set for failure, from the top. If from the top, the little pebbles didn't start falling, and it didn't start trickling down like it did. Maybe by the time it got to Travis would have said, "Okay, let's stop this because this looks bad." Maybe at that point we would have seen it differently, but it shouldn't have. It really shouldn't have gotten that far.
No,
Like a proper event, and it was planned properly. It should have. Because seen concerts have been full. And,
Right.
you know, he was there and security was there and everybody, you know, does what they're supposed to do. And yeah, you're right, from the medical to the security, you know, to Travis, to the production, to everything. I think they all have a little grain of salt there and to blame in that.
Yeah.
And I will say this too, Izzy. I do feel that there should be a certain level of responsibility on any other person that was involved that knew that issue was going down. Because here it is. Police have done it before. They shut down AstroWorld in 2019 when they went 5 minutes over because the party was still going. The party did not stop. They killed the power. So when you have something like that going on, why didn't anybody go out of their way? Why didn't anybody, the powers that be, the higher ups, whatever, that knew that people were dropping like flies, why didn't they just turn on the lights? Why didn't they just kill the power in the middle of his song? Whatever. Let him be pissed. Let him be mad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But still, at the end of the day, it's still saving a couple people's lives, right? They didn't do that either. So they had power to do things. Not only just Travis, but they had the outside entities that were involved with this whole thing had opportunities to just shut this bad boy down, or at least kill the lights and turn on all the ugly lights on. And they didn't do that. You know what I mean?
They didn't. They should have done it as soon as they started breaching the gates at the front at the beginning. They should have just shut it down, been like, nope, sorry, we had a breach. We're just gonna have to postpone this or something. They should have just cut it from the beginning. And to be clear about hiring security, I remember the conversation yesterday, that girl that posted the two-parter, I think, on TikTok or whatever, the girl that was hired for security from Dallas.
Oh, yeah.
They usually don't hire people. It's more of like just to have a presence known. It's they never really check people's backgrounds for that kind of stuff. I've done it several times myself in different locations. They don't do that. But they also don't not check your stuff. You go to a concert in Houston, anywhere, at any venue, and if you're going to bring a bag, it has to be clear. Whether you're working or you're a concert goer, whatever, you have to have a clear bag.
Yeah.
If not, it's not allowed. You go through security checks by literal metal detectors. And then you get your purse searched if you do bring one, even if it's clear. I've been turned away a couple of times because I forgot about the fact that you have to have a clear purse. So, it's just the fact that security wasn't really trained to do anything that's kind of normal. I don't want to put blame on them, especially if the people that hired them, the people that were actually trained and in charge, weren't even doing their job or paying attention or doing anything to stop anything. When you can't look to a whole bunch of people who are leaderless and have no idea what to do when something actually does go down, to be able to, just keep everything in check mentally and handle the situation. Even people who are trained, they can just, freeze up and panic themselves, which obviously doesn't help. So I would just like to clear that up from yesterday. Just to,
I'm not trying to put all of the blame on Travis, but as the entertainer, he had a lot of mental control over his fans.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Now, ultimately, the only one that can really shut it down is management and Live Nation, because if Travis puts down his mic and walks off the stage, he's in breach of contract.
Facts.
So he legally really can't do that, but he can at least slow it down, chill it out, change the atmosphere. He has that in his power. I was at a show years and years ago in the 80s when I was a teenager, Skid Row, and there was like a fight or something, and a woman accidentally got hit. Not only did the band stop, but their lead guitarist, Dave Sabo, jumped off the stage to pick this woman up and make sure she was okay. And then they continued with the show. So the people on stage really have a lot of power and influence over the fans and over the people in attendance. And Travis did nothing to slow it down, to change the atmosphere, to chill everybody out. He did nothing.
Yeah, I would hope that people weren't taking away from his responsibility. Yeah. He absolutely has power.
He can't
just look at January 6th.
Completely kill the show. He can't kill the show because that's breach of contract. But he can at least tone it down and change the atmosphere. And he did none of that.
True.
Well, it's just like what happened on the 6th of the first month of this year.
Yeah.
That's true. Yes, yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
With our former president.
True. And the thing is that of course within breach of contract and all that stuff as well, I keep thinking like F breach of contract. This is about people's lives. You need to save these people. It doesn't matter if you need to shut it down. Then I feel like there should be, or I'm sure there is a clause somewhere in his contract where he has to make sure that, hey, you know, within the liability of his own self, you know, not only just the safety of himself, but this also should be the safety of other people as well, that is being made sure that, you know, he has the right to shut things down or stop the show because people aren't, you know, willing to listen to him or willing to stay, stop acting like animals, right?
Yeah.
Be civilized individuals. I do have Quizmatics on here really, really quick because I got to wrap up the show. But Quizmatics, what's up, man? What's on your mind, bro?
Hey, what's going on, Pascal? Good speaking to you as always. Great show.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Let me just hop in where we are right now. So right now I'm hearing us talk about Travis Scott and, you know, this breach of contract stuff. Let's stop for a moment, just as an entertainer. Travis may not be 100% responsible, but what he can do is care. He might not necessarily have to stop the show altogether, but you can chill out, stop. There's something called crowd control. When you have that mic in your hand, you have power. When you see things are going awry, hey, hold on a second, DJ. Stop for a second. Let me speak to this crowd for a moment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Let me not encourage people. And I mean, this is a guy who has a history. He already has an inciting riot cases against him previously at shows.
Yes.
So this isn't like Travis Scott's first rodeo. So
he did the opposite. He was encouraging them to rage.
Yes. Exactly.
Yeah.
So but that's one thing I want to bring up. The next thing
go ahead.
Because we're going to close the show out soon, but I just want to make a couple of points here. There's another thing I think that, you know, you always have to see the silver lining. And I think that there's going to be positive things that come out of this for future concerts. Because first off,
I hope so.
There are people who brought 9-year-olds, 12-year-olds to a concert. Like, I'm a hip hopper for life. I don't necessarily think that that's really the place you want to bring to a show for a person who has music, encouraging people to take drugs and all kind of stuff like that. I mean,
well, let me interject real quick because the little ones that showed up didn't know about his rage shows.
No, that also
that was Fortnite.
Parents, but that should rest on the parents' responsibility of doing their due diligence.
I agree.
And researching.
Looking up that particular artist to make sure that they're not walking into a blood fest or walking into some sort of thing like going and checking out Guar or something like that.
Well, you know, my best friend has 2 young boys and they play Fortnite and they love Travis. And last week she said, I'm going to get this pay-per-view and the boys are going to watch him. And I said, no. I said, you're not going to get the show you think you're going to get. And when I sent her some clips, she was completely stunned. She had no idea. And I said, because the parents didn't do their research. All they know is the Fortnite stuff.
See what I'm saying?
It was also promoted by McDonald's.
Like, how does somebody, But that's the thing. So how does somebody go and not, like, as a parent, right? I'm not knocking Ezra's father. I'm not knocking any of that. But I'm just saying in general, as a parent, right? Aren't you supposed to be kind of semi quasi stalkerish with your children? You know,
paranoid,
within a healthy extent, right? You got to make sure that wherever your children are going, you got to know where they're going. You know for a fact Travis Scott ain't Barney, and you should go and find that out, right? You should do your due diligence, look that ish up to make sure before you send your 4-year-old to 9 to 10 to 11-year-old child to a concert. Make sure you know who you. It doesn't matter if he's McDonald's or Fortnite or whatnot. You need to know what the hell your children are getting into.
And honestly, I didn't even have any idea about it myself. When I was on the phone call with my friend and she was talking about it, she was on speakerphone and she was mentioning Travis Scott and his show, and my son was in the room, and my son is the one that said, "Wait, what? Travis, wait, huh?" And I was like, "I've never heard of Travis Scott." I'm like, "Why are you looking at me like that?" He said, "Travis Scott is not something those boys should be looking at." And he said, "How old are they?" I said, "Well, they're like 9 and 13." And he's like, no. And my son, who's 23, is the one that said, "This is what Travis Scott is really like." So I wouldn't have known without my 23-year-old cluing me in. I would have had no clue.
To be honest with you, you don't have to research super duper hard in 2021. Just go on YouTube and look up a couple of his videos. You tell me if Goosebumps is an age appropriate music that you want your children being exposed to. All right, that's one of his biggest records. Take a look at that. You tell me that just look at the video. It's very nicely done, but I mean the content material is I wouldn't necessarily say that's the place you. And then and the thing about that is also we had somebody from security. I don't even know why they would be letting a 12-year-olds into that concert from a security standpoint, knowing that you're going to be raging, knowing that he has a 50,000 people crowd that's going to be mosh pit dancing and all of that crazy stuff or whatever. So I just think all of those things lend to a bigger conversation for us as adults to do basic due diligence. All right, basic research before going to see artists.
Absolutely.
I did my due diligence when my son was a child. He's 23 years old now. He's a grown man. I don't have to do that anymore. So when my friend mentioned Travis Scott, I had never heard of him. But 10 years ago, when my son was 13, I was that mom that was all up in everything, but he's 23 years old. I don't need to do that anymore. And when she and I were having that conversation, my child, grown man, was smart and intelligent and cool enough to just step up and say, "Hey, wait, let me check you guys," because he knew, So I don't have to do that anymore, but I had to make sure she did it.
Right.
Yeah, I also want to point out how like I had a friend that was gonna go to one of these Travis Scott's concert. I think it was back in 2018, 2017, around there. Can't remember, but he told me, "Would you go to this concert?" I'm like, "No way." He told me, "Why not?" I said, "Here's some footage. Like he is like inappropriate. He's like acting in an inappropriate way. He's injuring people, and he's doing like these mosh pits and just telling people, oh, screw security, just come in."
Oh, wow.
And he's like, and he was so close for buying tickets for the show. I'm like, dude, it's not worth the $500 tickets.
Absolutely.
It's not worth it.
$500? Are you
serious? It was regular tickets for a Travis Scott concert.
Like $400 and some odd dollars just to go to the concert. So
that is just regular admission. It's not VIP.
Ridiculous, which is absolutely ridiculous. God. But Violet Dream, Lisa Clay, and Quizmatics, thank you guys so much for being on. I got to let you guys go. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
You
Take
too,
care.
bye. Oops. So, as you guys see, I mean, people were paying $400+ Real talk, $400+ just to go to this event. No lie, that is some crazy stuff, y'all. That is absolutely nutty. That people were spending that kind of money. Basically, they're like we saw in that press conference. They were buying their death ticket, their train, their ticket to on the death train, right? It's insane that that people were dropping that much money just so that they can say that they were there. Unbelievable, y'all. Unfreaking believable. Like I said before, and I'll keep saying it, my thoughts and prayers go out to every single last soul that was there at the event that has been heavily traumatized, savagely, viciously traumatized by this situation. And of course, all the families that have lost their loved ones, because there has been 9 right now, 9, count them, 9 people, 9 victims that died due to the stampede that happened at AstroWorld, of all places. But like I said, I will be continuing the conversation more and more as time goes on. I'm going to be trying to do a conversation with a lawyer here in the very near future. Hopefully, either tonight or tomorrow morning, we will be having a in-depth conversation about the legalities, right? We're going to have an esquire the hell out of it and explain to us, is there a possibility of Travis Scott facing criminal charges? We don't know yet. I think that there's a possibility, but maybe there isn't, right? So we are working on that. I am working on that interview and that conversation, or at least that discussion with a lawyer, because we need to know that stuff, right? We are all seeing how his pockets are getting thinner, right? Within these lawsuits, financial lawsuits, right? They're going after his pocket. But what about criminally? Can he see some charges? We're going to find out here soon. So that's the show, everybody. I appreciate everybody for being on. Before you leave, hit that like button down below. Real quick, hit that like button down below. And for those of y'all who are just watching the show and who haven't seen this show before, welcome to the Pascal Show. Please crush that subscribe button. All right. I'm working my way towards 50,000 subscribers. So please contribute, become a subscriber, become a member of this family. Hit that join button down below. Support this channel. Right. And I do have merch. I have t-shirts and stuff. So go to thepascalshowmerch.com and get yourself some Pascal Show swag. That'd be really appreciated. I really would really appreciate the support. Anyway. It's time to get going. All right, guys. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. And I'll see you guys soon. This is the Pascal Show. Bye.
You're going to perform tonight. I can't make this interview boring because this man is too exciting as a host. And I'm truly saying this, and if y'all can't do this, me and this man here is going to leave and go somewhere else where we can get some love. I want everyone in the building to say, I love Pascal on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Wow.
Homeowners and property managers, if you're looking for effective and humane ways to remove wild animals and deal with the damage that they have caused, we have good news for you. Introducing Wildlife Command Center. We are the only wildlife company that checks 70 different areas on a structure to determine the answers to the following questions. For more information, call us now.
The Fur and Leather Center, providing the highest of fur and leather goods.